Hey everybody, welcome to the Cityview Sitdown. My name is Douglas Hallam, the executive pastor at Cityview Bible Church in Round Rock, Texas. Just a privilege to invite you in to the family. You know, we started this podcast back in March or April of 2020 during the first throes of the COVID-19 crisis in our country, just to really try to keep our congregation connected and thinking about each other and getting to know folks. We've done 30 episodes. We're at episode 31, and we're excited today to bring you another story of a couple in our church family who really is the salt of the earth and makes Cityview what it is. You know, what we like to say about the Sit Down podcast is we encourage people to sit down over a cup of coffee or over a breakfast or a meal and get to know each other and really connect and hear your story and share my story. And that's really the best way for our family to connect. But we also know during this time for sure, but even on a regular Sunday morning when there's 12 or 1,500 people walking around the Cityview campus, it's hard to do that. It's hard to sit down and connect. And so we put this series of podcasts together to give you a chance to hear a little bit more about the folks who make the Cityview family what it is. And so with that, I want to bring on my guests this afternoon. I want to introduce you to good friends of mine, Scott and Bri Martindale. Welcome, you guys.
Hey,
Thanks
for
coming.
us.
So glad you guys are here. So the way I always start the podcast, I do that exact intro that I just did, and then I take just a few minutes and I say, I want you to introduce yourselves to us as though you're meeting somebody in the lobby. So somebody comes over, shakes your hand and says, I'm glad to be here at Cityview. Hey, tell me a little about yourself. And we've all got that little elevator speech that's like, I've been here for 14 years and I've been on the worship team for a long time and I moved here in 2006. You know, you kind of tell people a little bit about the story. Who's your family? Where you serve in ministry. So why don't we do that? Bri, you want to start us off and introduce yourself to the church as though you were meeting somebody new in the lobby.
Sure. I'm Bri, and we first came to Cityview in 2012.
Yeah.
And I was back at the Y, and it was great. And I have served in the Bumblebees class, and then I kind of found my home with the All Abilities team. Yeah. And yeah, those are our people. We've done the Go to Mexico trip, and right now we're in the Regeneration program, leading that up.
So awesome.
So, yeah.
So awesome. I'm going to put a pin in the All Abilities ministry, so I want you to tell us a little bit about that.
Sure.
And so you are the first. You're the first on our podcast that has served in that ministry.
Oh, cool.
And so definitely want to give you the chance to speak a little bit about the All Abilities ministry and how important that is to Cityview and how important it is to the folks and the families who utilize that ministry, certainly when COVID's not around.
Sure.
Every week. So want to be thinking about that. Scott, introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little about you and your family.
My name's Scott. I work as a firefighter here in Round Rock.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 kids, and then a foster daughter also. And we've been married for 13 years.
Yeah. It's awesome. Now, are you guys originally from this area, or how did you get to Round Rock? Is it because of the work that brought you here?
We both born and raised in Texas, about 45 minutes from here.
Okay.
In different spots.
Okay.
We met down in Southwest Texas.
Okay.
In San Marcos.
Mm-hmm.
Met there in college, and then eventually got married, then graduated, and then moved to Austin for a little while, and then we started to have kids, so we were looking for a house, and we couldn't afford a house in Austin, so we came to Round Rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of those folks out there who just heard Southwest Texas and are like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Texas State.
There you go. We're talking about Texas State. Because it took me a minute, and I'm old enough to know what Southwest Texas was. I was like, what Southwest? Oh, Texas State.
Right.
Yeah. But you guys also are old enough that it was Southwest Texas.
I went there the last semester that it was
Yeah.
Texas State, Southwest.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there. But
You're not quite there. It was always Texas State for Bri.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's good. So yeah, that's awesome. So you guys are here. You've been at Cityview since 2012, so almost 9 years, which is crazy. So you were back in the YMCA days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys have been participating with us. I know, Scott, you used to help us set up and tear down. And
Right.
Bree, you were in the, like when you talk about Bumblebee's classroom, that was over at the Y.
Yep.
So for sure, long timers here. So grateful for you guys in your ministry and everything that we've been able to share with you and your family. But
Same.
you talked about the All Abilities ministry, and you lead that with good friends of ours, the Ballards.
Yes.
I want to hear a little more about that ministry, and I know our people would too. And folks who are not even our people, but might be interested in coming as COVID kind of lifts up. What is the All Abilities ministry when you talk about that? Give us kind of the nutshell and then maybe even expand a little bit.
Sure. So the All Abilities Ministry is just an adaptive version of church that helps people with all different kinds of abilities be able to worship and attend Sunday school and just be a part of the Cityview community in any way that is needed. We we invite all the friends, every man, woman, and child, and that includes every man, woman, and child, regardless of any kind of ability. Where a lot of what we do is we give children with any kind of abilities, 1, 2, sometimes 3 buddies, depending on their athletic abilities, so that they can attend Sunday school as independently as possible. And it just kind of helps them to have a friend to be able to meet whatever needs they may have. We've done some adaptive stuff with some adults that we have here too. They just needed some help like in some of the bathroom facilities or just any kind of adaptive like tools or technology that they need to be able to interact in the service at the highest level of independence that they are able to have. We just kind of just want to be a shadow and like a help to them to be able to participate as high as their functioning level allows.
So awesome. So awesome. Yeah, and it's funny. We're in this. It's not funny. It's God's move, right? That we're in the middle of this season where we're talking about our goal of being a community that has community, but also a community that enjoys diversity. And so we think of diversity obviously in like race and ethnicity, and then we think about it in socioeconomic status, and then we think about it in age maybe. But a lot of times people forget like that All Abilities is a diverse population within our community. And so it's awesome to continue even the differently abled folks to come to Cityview and be part of the church family, so that, like you say, all men, women, and children are welcome here. So, tell us a little bit give us kind of an example and maybe talk to us about a Sunday morning in the All Abilities ministry, what that looks like. You're talking about buddies.
Sure.
So help us understand, and maybe to people who aren't even, like I say, part of the Cityview family, who would maybe benefit from knowing, hey, there's a church that cares for all people of all abilities.
So there's 2 different aspects of that. One is serving in it, and the key to that is just flexibility and loving people where they're at, whatever that looks like. And so that's kind of our team. And then, because any given Sunday morning is going to be different depending on which of our friends show up and just kind of where they're at functionally. And then, so like if you're a new family coming in, we do sort of like a welcome paper that says, hey, how can we help? Like, what are some things that your family member that you're here to support is really good at? And what are some things that may be hard for them that we could assist with? And, what's their relationship with Jesus like? Do they know who God is? Like, how can we teach them more and like help them to be able to take that next step spiritually? And so it's really cool welcome paper, because it just kind of gives us like food allergies or medical needs. It's just like a really quick assessment of like, where are you at and how can we help? And so then we just allow that individual, if it's an adult and they want to attend church, awesome. If they are an adult and they want to hang out in our class because that feels like a better fit for them, that's fine too. We have a friend that does that, and she's fantastic to hang out with. And then we have a handful of kiddos that come in with different kinds of needs. And so if they're able to interact socially with their peers, then we'll grab a buddy and go up to the Sunday school class with them, and we'll participate in their Sunday school class with them. Good. And if they just need more assistance in that, we hang out in our room and follow, just whatever schedule is set kind of for the Sunday to include worship and teaching from the Bible and just enjoying fellowship.
Well, and what I love about it is that you guys have made it a point to really build into the culture of your ministry the same DNA that we have as a church, which is that all people, no matter who they are are created in God's image and his likeness, and like they carry the Imago Dei, and God loves them and cares for them. And throughout our children's ministry program for 14 years we've been doing this, you guys know this, have been participating in it, that we've always said it's not childcare. This is not babysitting. This is ministry, and this is giving kids the life-changing reality of Jesus. And the same DNA carries into our All Abilities ministry, that, you know, this is not just, hey, a place for you to park. This is a place for you to come and experience God's reality and his love in your life. And so thank you for doing that. Appreciate that a lot.
Thanks for letting us have the space to.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you've heard this story time and time again, but I've recently, over the course of the last couple of months, heard somebody tell me that even just prior to us kind of having the COVID hiatus, they came after doing about a 5 or 6 church search and really feeling like they had landed at a church, but said, hey, we had Cityview on our list, and we better go check out Cityview because we said we were going to check it out. So just let's do our due diligence. We're going to go to it. And they left after having utilized All Abilities ministry on their very first Sunday here, and just drove out in tears thinking, my gosh, this is amazing. Like a church that actually cares to put this on their ministry list. And so
It's needed.
It's cool too, because like she's told me all kinds of stories about parents that have left churches because the people there literally either can't or won't care for their children. And so, a lot of them have been happy to come here and learn with them, and just be able to go to church and just worship and get that kind of break that's needed. Also, I mean, not just worship and like community with others, but just that,
The
you know,
respite.
that, right.
So part of what our ministry does is we host respite for families every once in a while, and it's almost like a mini VBS where we do still Bible stories, worship, dance party, glow sticks, like the whole shebang, and we'll try to like central it around like a holiday, and just make it really festive and fun for the participants. And it is a ministry like to the families as well who have the just have extra needs for like their family members. So
yeah, and I know that you guys would agree with this, that when we say that some churches aren't able to provide this ministry, we're not talking negatively about any church. In fact, you guys have gone out of your way to help other churches create these ministries and try to get them started to realize, hey, this is attainable. This is something that every church and every person can do.
yes.
Even the things that you guys have taught me about inclusion and connecting and really speaking into the lives of folks who maybe you wouldn't have felt comfortable speaking into, but praise the Lord, this is something that we've all learned together. So
Awesome.
certainly grateful for you guys in that ministry. So thanks for that. Scott, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your family. And you mentioned, and we have a foster child. So I know that that's a big deal for you guys in your family right now. Tell us a little about that journey and where'd that come from? And I mean, I think all the time people will ask, like, foster, okay, tell me a little bit what made that choice, you know, because it's a tough road, right? And so tell me a little bit about what's going on in your family.
It started back in July. Well, she's been wanting to do this forever since we got married. She just wants all the kids. And like even when we had our 3, she's like, I just want one more. And but that wasn't. Yeah, we couldn't have any more biologically.
Right.
It just
Right.
wasn't going to work.
Right.
And so, like, I was just like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't know about fostering or adopting or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, it was, I think it was in June.
So I stopped asking him about it and I started praying about it.
That is dangerous when a wife does that, Scott. When a wife stops asking and starts praying, you're in trouble.
And so basically God heard her prayers and talked to me and said, he's like, I think you guys need to do this.
Yeah.
And so, and it was something too that, you know, we have the ability to do, so we should do it. So.
I heard from another church member literally just yesterday morning who's starting the process of getting certified for foster, who said, the way he said it was, I knew it was something that I couldn't avoid, that it was as though God was sitting on my chest saying, you will do this.
Yeah.
And so I hear that in your voice too, that the Lord was just telling you, this, you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Even now. But
Yeah.
I mean, we should, and
Yeah.
we're moving forward. So
Yeah. Praise the Lord. That's so good, man.
Yeah.
So good. So tell us a little bit about, that process of like getting certified. What does that look like? Because I think what happens when you start talking about foster adopt or foster families, people start hearing it and they think it's unattainable. And, what I heard you say, Scott, is we can do it. And so we should do it.
Yeah.
And I almost hear in your voice that if not us, then who kind of thought process. So somebody out here listening today is thinking the same thing, like, oh man, it'd be so hard, but maybe that little twinge is on my shoulder. Talk to me about the process a little bit. What did you do? What did you have to go through? How did you prepare yourself to be a foster family?
Well, normally there's all kinds of classes that you have to take, that you have to go in person, but since COVID, most of it's online.
Yeah.
And so the process normally takes like 3 months, but it's not anything that's difficult. It's just, checking the boxes, going through all the classes. But we were able to do ours in about a month just because everything was online. And so we just scheduled one after another, and we,
I had been waiting 12 years for his yes, so we were pretty excited.
Once the yes came,
Once the yes came,
schedule it all,
Yeah.
all the
emphatic.
things.
yeah.
I like it.
And so, none of it is that hard. It's just, stuff that you have to do to get certified. I was already first aid certified, so I didn't have to do that. But she had to redo her CPR. But, really, there was nothing difficult about it other than making the decision to do it.
Right. Yeah, and so you guys and I were talking a little bit before we actually started rolling the cameras, but so you have 3 kids. How does adding a foster kiddo into your family, how'd that work out for you guys? How's that feeling for you guys? How's it feeling for the kiddos? What's some of the great stuff that God's doing in that for you guys?
They're stoked about it. The kids love her so much. She came from a really hard place. And we were in the early days were hard just because of where she came from. Her normal was not our normal, and we really had to adjust to love her well. But I think I just want to say, you don't have to be perfect people to be foster parents. You just have to be willing to do the next thing, because we are not perfect people. If you can feed kids and keep a roof over their heads and not physically hurt them, then you are qualified. And so, just feel like Jesus' heart is so much for the least of these, and orphans are in that category. And so, when we first brought her in, it was pretty rocky. She had some pretty intense behavioral needs. And I remember having a moment where I just asked God, show me how this is good, for my family's good. Show me how this is for my biological children's good. And he very specifically within the next 48 or 24 hours, gave me specific things with each of my kids. For example, he was teaching my older son how to be selfless. And if an 8-year-old can learn how to be selfless, what a great trait that I want him to have as an adult one day,
no doubt.
And so, just allowing God, because his word says when we are weak, he is strong, and just allowing him to be the strength, and just coming to him in the hard moments, and just relying on him for the hard things. He's the one that's doing this. It's not oh yay, Scott and Bri are foster parents. It's the Lord is taking us this direction, and he's giving us strength and allowing us gentleness where we would not have it otherwise, and just self-control and patience. And it's just him that does these things. And so before we would say we are not qualified to do this, right? But in his strength, he is the one that makes it happen every step of the way. So
So good. Praise the Lord. Thank you guys for doing that. Thanks for stepping out that way. It's such a hard road. So grateful for you guys. And I know we can't get off of this topic without just the 3 of us shouting out to our friend Kenny and Lauren, who have done this for so many years and
Yes.
have influenced all of us in
Yes.
this realm.
Yeah.
And I know they've influenced you guys personally as your love for them and watching them serve. So Kenny and Lauren, we love you.
Yes.
We miss you, and we're praying for you. But
Yes.
thank you for your influence that has influenced Scott and Bri and others as well. So just make sure we say that to them publicly as well.
For
So,
sure.
Yeah. So I know you've gone up there and visited with them and have just experienced their love for just taking on the hard road and walking it. So thank you for that, for sure.
Lauren would always tell us, like, it's hard, it's really, really difficult, and it's really, really worth it. And I think that we have found that personally now to be true.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard, and
Yeah.
it's really, really worth it. And like, God does not just call us to easy, like, sunshine things. Like, God calls us to love well, and like, he's with us, like, in the pain and in the hard and in the heartbreak, and like, he's the one that like glues our hearts back together again when they're crumbling. And so like,
Yeah.
that's just who he is.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So two more thoughts on that. One is to the person who did hear us talk about this for the last 10 minutes and is thinking, okay, I'm kind of interested. Where would you send them? What would you ask them to do? And how would you ask them to maybe pursue, like, looking into foster care as a family?
I think I'd like to plug our agency.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So we are with a very old, like, my grandmother would like give a portion of her like giving to this. It's a branch of Lutheran Social Services,
Okay.
And it's called Upbring in
Yeah.
Austin, and we love them. They are just Christ-centered and just agree so much about Jesus's love for
That's
children, and we have nothing but good things to say about them.
Yeah, I think the agency is half of it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It can make or break
Yeah.
how well you get into
Sure.
the program or
Sure.
just whatever happens. And they've done really well.
yeah. So just find an agency and
Yeah.
apply and start the conversation with somebody. They undoubtedly have some counselors there who can kind of guide you through the process,
Sure.
even
Right.
if it's online. The other thought that came to mind is you mentioned this in the all abilities section, talking a little bit about the respite stuff. And I know, like, I know just, again, from having been close friends with Kenny and Lauren and then with others who have gone through this process, that, like, it's one thing for me to stand up in front of the congregation and say, hey, you guys need a date night, right? It's another thing for me to look at a foster couple and say, you guys need a date night, because it's very difficult. It's not, hey, I just pay the girl down the street to come and spend 3 hours with my kiddos. There's a whole process. And so there may be people out there who are listening and think, you know, I don't want to foster, but what could they do about helping you guys with some respite care, with some time to watch the kiddos? How does that work? What does that look like? Because I know people have asked me that before.
You want this one?
They have to get cleared through our agency to babysit
Sure.
specifically the foster kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's that hard. They have to do a background check,
Sure.
fingerprints,
Mhm.
CPR.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to take a couple classes, but I don't think it's that difficult. My mom did it. A couple of our friends from church have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just get certified and come
Yeah.
and watch our kids.
Yeah,
No.
and then call the Martindales.
No, but like, even bigger than us, I think I was talking to some of my friends about the difference between like fostering versus like having a child biologically, and I think that like the difference we actually landed on fostering a new child is more difficult than an infant because it's the same
Sure.
sleep and everything,
Sure.
but typically like it isn't like let's have a baby shower for you or let's
Right.
do like a meal train. And so I think just like asking questions like you just asked, like, what do you need right now? Like, I just ran out of eggs,
Yeah.
like to families
Yeah.
that are fostering or
Sure.
even families that are adopted, because as an infant would like grow and develop and become God willing, like easier over time. Like that's not true with fostering a new child because of the behavioral meltdowns
Sure,
and
sure.
the triggers from visits with family. So if you know or love someone that is doing foster care, I think just asking questions like, hey,
That's good.
I'm running by HEB. Can I grab something for you?
That's
Just
really
like
good.
routinely. Or like, hey, I cooked a double batch of spaghetti and we're never
Right.
going to finish this pot. Can I bring some over? I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
always good to like, because it could be like really lonely because the people that babysit are limited and do have to go through like trainings and qualifications. I remember us having conversations with the Humphreys about just like the loneliness of it because you're almost always like on,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
It's almost like
For
a
sure.
job at your house.
Yeah, for sure.
And so just checking in to say like, I had a sweet friend like stop by and bring me like a chai tea the other
Yeah,
day, and she was
yeah.
just like, going by the coffee shop.
Yeah.
What do you want to order? You know, I'm going to
Yeah.
be in your front yard and I'm
That's
going to drop
good.
it for you. You know, so
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
just loving well.
That's so good. That's so good because my mind went to like respite care for a date night or a night away or that kind of thing.
Sometimes that can feel too hard.
Exactly. But you giving us those examples of just a latte, just a conversation even about what do you need is helpful.
Like
Yeah, there's a
jump-
lot of small things that people can do just without going too much out of their way to help people that are fostering or
Yeah.
just even in a hard spot.
Yeah, really anyone that's like dealing with a crisis or something new.
Well, and I know that you guys specifically, because you're here, I get to tell your story. Like Scott, you said you're a firefighter. So there's days on end that you're home with the 4 kiddos alone.
Yeah.
And so in case it wasn't tough enough for a foster family, add to it, dad goes to work for 3 nights in a row. And so for sure, especially for you guys, again, because you're here, I get to tell your story. Call Bri, call Scott, and say, what can you do? But call anybody.
Call anybody.
Yeah.
Call anybody.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
just
We have
love
a-
well.
Yeah, we have a good network of
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
that help us, and just like she said, just come by and
Yeah.
We're so thankful.
So
bring us
good.
stuff. So
So good. So awesome. So awesome. Love to hear that. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing how somebody can get involved, how somebody can help with you or help with someone else that they know, you
Yeah.
know. And it may not even be somebody in the Cityview family that you know. It might be somebody on your street
Right.
that you think, oh, no, I know that they actually foster kiddos. And that, I mean, just reach out and help. You know, it's a good opportunity to be a servant to someone. It's a good opportunity potentially to be missional, right? And
Yes.
so that's a good opportunity. I think the other part of like your story that's on my mind as a family, it really kind of centers on Bri, like some of your creative. And so like
Oh.
I've seen over the course of the time I've known you for the last little over a decade, or a little under a decade rather, like your creativity come out in some of your painting and your artwork, but most recently, or more recently, I guess, writing a book, authoring a book and publishing it. And tell us a little about that side of your life and, you know, how God's used you in that and areas of your life creative that people would like to hear about.
Well, thanks. I think it got like I've always enjoyed like writing and drawing. I think that my spark got reignited when I did a Jenny Allen study here. I was actually at the old office. It was
Sure.
a while back.
Yeah.
And I just really felt like the Lord was like, I put this passion in you for a reason, and I want to use these gifts. And so my first book was self-published. It's called God Says I'm Beautiful. And I dedicated it to my daughter. She was 3 at the time and just loved to dress up and really had a lot of questions about like what beauty was. And so I was like, I'll just jump on Amazon and order something. And there were a lot of really good books out there. They said things about beauty that were you're beautiful because you're strong and you're a woman, or you're beautiful because of the culture that you come from. And like there is some truth in those things, but it is not really why our family believes that we
Yeah.
are beautiful
Yeah.
and wonderfully made. And so I just couldn't find what I wanted to teach her. So I wrote it and I
Yeah.
self-published it because it was faster than having to
Yeah.
go through an agency to
Sure.
publish traditionally. And it was on her shelf within a year.
she did the illustrations too.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, I've seen it. I've read the book. It's so great. Like it's such an awesome thing to be able to share with young girls, and you know, just really the message is good for anybody, right? Like,
Thanks. It's God's word.
Yeah,
Just
it's an identity
in a
piece.
story form.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. So you've published a book. I know you've taught some art classes. You've done some art here around the church from time to time. Like, really appreciate your gifts and the way God has wired you to be, just a sweet spirit around here, and also just somebody who really gives of themselves in so many ways. So thanks for that, for sure. Scott, tell me, I wanted to ask too, in you guys opening, you said something about having gone to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so in a year that we have had to cancel trips out from the church, people may not know that a mission in New Mexico has been a place that we've gone several times. And you guys have both been on trips, you've led trips, you've taken people with you. Tell us a little bit about that experience and like what you've done and who you've met with out there, and why part of your heart is in Northwest New Mexico.
I started, I think it was in like 2014, and I just went with the group that was going. Right. And then the leader couldn't go next year. He moved. And so there wasn't anybody to lead it. And I don't necessarily think I'm perfect for leading a mission trip, but I mean, I didn't see anybody else that was going to do it. So it's like, okay. And so, I started leading it, and we did it for, I think like 5 or 6 years, going just every summer, going back to New Mexico. And it was on a Navajo reservation, and we were serving the church, the pastor and his wife. We either did work in their community, fixed up houses or got groceries for people, or we did specifically mission work for that pastor and his wife. Because they were just such a big influence in that community, and they just don't get taken care of, or even just the recognition that they should get.
For sure.
And so just anything we could do to help them, help their family, and just help the Navajo people. And it's nice because it's not an expensive trip. I think it's the cheapest one by far that Cityview offers, and it's here in America. You don't need a passport. There's nothing glamorous about it. You're going to do some hard work, but you're going to meet some cool people.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, thank you again for leading that effort. I mean, you probably took 50 or 60 people out there over the course of those 4 or 5 years to help with construction projects, food pantry sorting, general cleanup, and of course then sharing the mission of Christ. And so appreciate you doing that and leading that. So I would echo what you just said. It's an inexpensive trip. It's in the United States. And if you have the opportunity to go. Make the effort to do it. Just take the time and go.
The people are so beautiful and lovely.
Yeah. Such a good deal. Well, guys, thank you guys for coming today. I want to give you a chance. What is on your heart to share? Has anybody, have we covered everything you want to cover? Is there anything you want to share with the church or share with the Cityview family as we sit down over coffee?
If you haven't heard about the Regeneration,
thank you for saying that.
Ministry that just started on Monday. If you have a set of lungs, that might be a good thing to consider. Yeah, for sure. This literally, this is probably the 4th episode in a row that we will have said something about the recovery ministries that have started here at Cityview, and Regeneration is so incredible. I was there the opening night and just experienced the worship and the teaching time or the testimony time. Such a good deal. So just give a quick pitch for what Regeneration is and what you're experiencing in it in these first few months, or first few weeks rather.
So we started going in Georgetown before they offered it here at Cityview, and we took it there. And, we just kind of thought, we were both a little skeptical at first. We thought you had to be addicted to drugs or alcohol or gambling or whatever. But once we started going, that really wasn't the case. It was just anybody can do this ministry and benefit from it.
Yes.
no matter what your issue, everybody's got something that they're trying to deal with. And just going through, it is a 12-step program. It's kind of what A&A has been kind of based on, but it's biblical, and it's helpful. Like it took us a year to get through the first time, and we're so screwed up we're doing it again. We're part
Wouldn't
of
you guys in Regen say we're all screwed up that we need to do it all the time?
Yeah.
No, I seriously think if you have a set of lungs, like you can benefit the very first night. And if you're new and you come in, you get a page of 100 different things that you could potentially be struggling with. And they say, choose 3. And we're going to work on these 3 for the next 12 steps. And it's fantastic. I really feel like it's a fast track to sanctification, because it really just, it's very, it's the 12 steps, but biblically based. And you really just have an opportunity to kind of take some like deep, intimate time with the Lord and work on things that are hard. With a group of people that love you and are going to hold you accountable and pray for you every week. It's fantastic.
Yeah, kind of what she said about adoption. It's hard, but
so worth it. Yeah. So Monday night, 6:30, right here on campus.
Yes.
Come be part of Regeneration and let the Lord work on your heart. That's good. Thanks for reminding me of that. It was in my brain when you said it, when you kind of talked through your ministry connections, and it, getting old here, Bri.
Thanks for giving us the time to share.
Yeah, of course. What else? Anything else you'd like to share? Any shout outs you want to make? You want to say to your kiddos, hi kiddos, we're on TV.
Oh, hey guys, we're on TV.
Yeah, they wanted us. They were asking what we were going to talk about, and they wanted us to talk about their favorite foods and things that they enjoyed playing with. So.
There you go. Well, come on, tell us what are some of the kiddos' favorite foods?
Hamburgers and nuggets.
Hamburgers and nuggets.
Got it.
Pizza.
And they wanted us to talk about Nova and Delilah. We have 2 dogs.
Nova and Delilah. I love it. What are Nova and Delilah? What kind of dogs?
A German Shepherd something and a Bulldog.
I love it. Nova and Delilah.
Yep.
They keep you busy. They keep you
kids
busy.
do.
Yeah.
The
Three kiddos,
the four.
a foster child, Nova and Delilah, and then you got Scott to deal with too. So,
it's a good gig. It's a good gig.
That's awesome. We sure love you guys. Sure appreciate you taking some time to come and visit with us this afternoon. So
thank you for
guys
having
so much.
us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So with that, Cityview, we're gonna wish you farewell for this week, episode 31 of the Sitdown. We hope you'll join us next week, episode 32. We're gonna jump back into a regular rhythm. We kind of missed. We kind of took a little bit of hiatus over the course of Christmas and the New Year, but we're back and we're gonna keep this rhythm going. And so we look forward to introducing you to more of the Cityview family. With that, we say God bless you. We love you. We'll see you soon. Have a good week.